Guys, it's the Tinman doing a nice morning update for you. Hear that jay in the background? Just back in here. Just a young one. This year obviously and not very big. I've already seen it. Been around every day I'm here. And it's come out a couple of times to see me and then it takes off. Acts kind of like a pet. It's on its own. Hasn't gone anywhere for the winter. Right here, just this morning, just not maybe 15 minutes ago, a nice big deer was standing down here. Eating away at a couple of things on the road and then kept on walking off. I got to get a good lesson of her because she was in my sights for almost 2 minutes. And you can hear a lawnmower guy in the background. Came in here and that's why I got up and woke up and stuff, as he was just chopping up around this sign there a bit. And after he left, a few dog sounds started going on quite a bit. And I've been paying attention really well to the dog sounds around here. I've done a walk down that way. In fact, on those trails I walked on, I didn't see any dog patterns. And you know what I know is that they're running our forest. They do a lot of work. They do a lot of groundwork. They do river work. They do lake work. They do rock work, tree work, all kinds of stuff. And so to me, they're everywhere. Now, it doesn't mean they're all hiding right here, right now or something. They maybe have pulled way back. But, see these big splits in the poles? It's a new phenomenon, I believe, starting to happen. We're going to just have to do some kind of rings. We could do metal ties on those poles, actually. It would help a lot. And because I know as much as I know, I kind of talk on a different level than most people. And so what people have to realize is there is catch up for them to do. It's not necessarily me to slow down, but it is necessary for me to try to figure out a way how to put my learned experience from this last year or so, this last, say, 13, 14 months of researching these guys. Every day, having them on my mind, every day looking somewhat for them, down to every day I could just find them now. So that deer over here was being corralled. When I looked at her and watched her for that little bit of time, she was being corralled because I could, you gotta understand, like if these dogs did live here and they're doing that barking they were doing, the amounts, especially one of them, he went non-stop for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. And now he's completely ceased in doing it. Didn't really recognize his voice from other days. It's not one of the ones that stands out. It was almost like it was a bit muffled, and maybe it was close. Because I did a couple of tests where I just test them out, see if they'll stop. And then I test them out, see if they'll start again. And I had a bit of success with him like that, so it's kind of giving me that information. Not everything's always 100%. You have to add up your score at the end, and sometimes you just have a score. And so the way her ears were flopping around and stuff, and I would say there was 3 different barkings going on at that exact time when I was listening or watching her ears. 2 from down off that way, 1 from off over this way, excluding that muffled one that I was hearing back this way. And yeah, she was really paying close attention. And so what that's helping fulfill some of my answers of how they keep the deer corralled. And I was wondering how they would do that, if it would be just tossing things and, a lot of spooking and get them through the real spooky time. And eventually the deer would tame down out of that spooky time. Might take a couple of days, I don't know. It's all what we'll figure out. But once they're out of that spooky time, they're easier to corral. And yeah, I could tell by the way she was paying attention to it, I 100% don't have a doubt that she's being corralled. In other words, what we all know, she can jump over a fence, she can go over a river and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I know. And we know that. But not if you're smart enough to keep her back from the river well enough with your corralling techniques, whether you're on a horse, ATV, hiding in the bush, throwing rocks, I don't know, shooting a pellet gun, I don't know, but you'd be able to figure out how to corral a deer. You got to remember, they're not corralling the deer over an acre. They'll probably be corralling her over lots of acreage here. Who knows? That was maybe her just coming out of the bush now, and she's maybe in the field over here getting some grass feed or something. But I know when I was on the trail down there yesterday, I also didn't see any deer tracks. None that I noticed. I wasn't looking hard at the ground because I knew they were so heavily around. I was just kind of doing my own thing and walking around. Yeah, I got that YouTube thing on there, crooked and stuff. My daughter doesn't like it there. She thinks it should be right here. I said, I think part of the problem is I turned around and made it crooked. Maybe I could have even put it right here. I see her point. Almost makes it look gawky now. Alrighty, peace out from the Tinman. Hope I'm making sense for you. Get a few shots. You want to go? Whoops. There we go for some zooming. Get a few pictures. Thanks for joining me. We got some amazing times, guys. It's really too bad. Well, other people will figure it out. It's all something to do with myself than other people. Because you could always be wishing your number was bigger, right? I think I partly worry that I just don't make enough sense. So, peace out. Let me know if I'm making sense with some of this, you longer time watchers who are into the story, getting something out of the story, seeing some factual stuff play out. Write that in your comments that, hey, people, you should be paying attention to this guy. I've gone on a lot of different things, and I don't get any inclination that people are even sharing my name or talking about me or anything. So that, I got to admit, I wouldn't appreciate for the people who talk to me like they're really getting something out of my work. Is it just that basic oversight getting, or have you really seen my first face-to-face and really connected with the beings? And I'm telling you right now, I stood there and you can see all that stuff. Remember that part of the story. Go to my vocalization and the verbal and physical vocal one, where they're very aggressive towards me, vocally attacking me and physically attacking the bushes in intimidation. And realize I stood there for that minute and a half, whatever the time is. I always make things look light. Every time I was always telling people about that story, I was telling them that it was like 30 seconds or something. I kind of argued with these things. Went on the video the other day myself, and I didn't specifically look for the time, but I think it was up around a minute and a half or something. So you guys got to understand what I'm doing, my commitment and stuff, and then you walk away from that and you don't tell anybody. Like, I would feel like I'm not doing it for my own pleasure. It's really not about my own pleasure. You build pleasure around things. You know, Mayweather kept being a great boxer because he built pleasure around his boxing. It sounds like this time he has said in his mind that he is retiring from boxing. So now you will see him change and stuff and become a guy that can't go back to that. You know, so think about those limitations as us people have, and they're really our own specific choice. And I wouldn't mind doing research on these guys continuously, but I will change my pattern. I won't be sleeping in a car. You know, I won't be kind of rush to get information to you guys. I'll be more on a different thing where my family maybe will understand me being calmer and stuff, and they won't think I'm so radical and weird. You know, I don't know. You don't always understand everything, do you? Maybe you do. But the world is about understanding, and I bet you Jesus continue understanding even up on the moment of going onto the cross, going into the tomb, all that kind of stuff. It's all been learning. This guy down here cutting the grass, you know, he's still learning different techniques even though he's been doing it for 30 years. Peace out.